and he probably knows I'm attacking. So my opponent's at 19,000, I'm at 18. And I've got my tanks up front. I'm bringing my MCV with me, my second MCV, and I saw this large force coming and thought, right, I can't lose all my tanks straight away.
Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid here. I've got a 1v1 multiplayer game on Woodlands map. I'm using Russia, my opponent's using Ukraine for this one. This was my first game of the day. And I thought, I haven't used Woodlands for a little bit, so I thought I'd give this map another go. I do like this one. You got a close oil derrick, and then one closer to the centre. So some early game action if you want to try and intercept the engineer when they're moving between these two is a good time. See, my opponent's gone for an engineer straight away. I had a rifle escorting him first. He's sent a rifle as well, slightly behind, but he's safe enough. There we go, I've got my first oil derrick under the capture, so's my opponent. And he hasn't set any... I've set my engineer on shift command. I've cleared the barrel away on this side so he can't be sniped. Now my opponent's engineer's on the way. This rifle's just a little late to catch him, I think, by the looks of that. Yeah, his engineer's turned back, that's good. My rifle is dodging these guys. They're grenadiers. In fact, there's two groups of grenadiers, I didn't know that. I saw them, I thought they were riflemen. Now, the enemy's engineer's making a run for it. But he's got to make his way here. Well, these grenadiers, they move more quickly than standard infantry grenadiers, so you can attack targets and get away. Enemy infantry can't follow, but once your opponent has a scout vehicle, I've lost that rifle guard. It's a different matter once they have a scout vehicle. His engineer's in the base, and then we've got 5 grenadiers here by the looks of it. 5 on this side. It's an expensive early game attack and very easily stopped. Now the sound of the grenades being thrown at the oil derricks has warned me. So now you see I'm bringing units and stuff back, and there you go, he's attacking them. A couple of grenades hit him, but he took one out. Now my opponent's capturing his second oil derrick, and these grenadiers are under fire, look, from that rifleman. So I've been warned, and I've sent a vehicle. There's nothing they can do about that. They're exploding, and now here's a couple more riflemen. Yeah, it took one burst from these guys. They're done for. Look, there's... I could have captured him. I could have caught the engineer out with that rifleman. I wasn't paying attention, obviously, at that point. I was trying to protect my base from a grenadier attack. Now, if that had have worked and he'd caught my base and he'd caught me vulnerable, he could have taken out 2 power plants and a barracks. That would have left me in trouble. He could have done it in a few seconds with 10 grenadiers. But, you know, a few riflemen alone protecting your base will deal with that. And then once you know if you know they're coming before they arrive, then that's the end of them. Here we go. We've got a scout vehicle and an APC, and he's got his engineer in there. I've got my engineer in my APC as well for safety. Good choice. But yeah, the grenadier assault didn't work, but my opponent's only slightly behind in army value from it, 1,000. So, yeah, he's doing well. I extend my build reach over to this way so I can build defences, look, and barracks, and I can defend this entrance. And do the same with this side. My next barracks will probably go down here. There we go, we've got an engagement. The flak truck. And I've got my APC up front, and it's fine at the moment, but once it starts taking those rocket hits, I want to get it back, especially as it's got my engineer inside. Now, that APC drew the fire of my infantry at a crucial moment, so he's won that engagement. Now he's running down my stragglers, and he's using the APC as well. Very nice, because, you know, its armour will just bounce bullets. They bounce off rifleman shots. It'd take you ages to do significant damage to an APC with rifles alone. And there's my MCV. I need to continue placing... There you go, there's the barracks. My structures. Get my expansion set up. My opponent has moved forward to attack my oil derrick, so he's taken out my second oil derrick. And we're at 8,000 each. He's slightly ahead, my opponent. They are. And I've got a tank up front, though. So this force, I'm confident, can hold them. But my opponent made no aggressive moves after that. Look, he's backing away. So, yeah, he's right to do that, really, because I would have destroyed that force. I've got tanks up front now, and I've still got my scout vehicle with the engineer inside. I've repaired it. Now we've got an eco transfer here. My ore trucks are on the way to the second ore field because I think I'm struggling for cash. Yeah, and at this point your production starts to take off more. Like, you've got tanks in constant production, infantry, mixed types of infantry with flame troops, and now this ore's running out. It's a crucial moment. That's why attacking these expansions, the first ones, is such an effective move, because it cuts off their money supply, their income at a crucial point. And I'm realising I know very little of what's going on, so I'm sending out units, look. And my opponent's expanding very well. He hasn't transferred his ore trucks yet, but he's got his home base MCV moving out. Now he's taking over the map quickly. So I need to know what's going on here. And I'm aware there's units in the field because most of those rifle scouts were picked off. So let's have a look at the army value now. My opponent's ahead, 16,000 each, but my opponent's got more. And there's his scout force. Flak truck, APC, and he's got a heavy tank there. He's converging with his units. He knows I've got a decent force, and he probably knows I'm attacking. So my opponent's at 19,000, I'm at 18. And I've got my tanks up front. I'm bringing my MCV with me, my second MCV, and I saw this large force coming and thought, right, I can't lose all my tanks straight away, and I have to get this into effect straight away because I'm within his view range of his structures. So I placed this here, this flame tower here. Now that splits his fire. So even though he's winning this engagement, it split his fire and just done a crucial job of giving me view range and base defences and primary production. And now a tank has arrived, I'm sound, and I've even managed to keep my APC alive. I wasn't losing it to that, but then when I saw I was attacking here and in a bad situation, I had to try and use the APC just to draw a bit of fire. Now it's not staying there, it's driving in and out of the combat, but it had to do something, and I've overrun the enemy, and my plan was to use the engineer to capture the MCV, and he packed up at a crucial moment. Now I've got the engineer on its way to capture the radar dome, and somehow a rifleman killed my engineer. I don't know how. It was very lucky if it was just the computer choosing it as a target. So I thought, right, I'll destroy that. And I'm still not giving up on that, but it'll give him a lot of view range. Just watch this. Look at that. He can see everything. But I thought it won't matter now. And I saw there was some units making their presence known, but my base defences have held them off. And any moment I'll be transferring primary production back here, I should say. And my attack is still going on. There's an engineer to capture the radar dome, but there's nothing to stop me now. I've still got my APC. Look, he's got a couple of tanks, so I just ordered my tanks to target them. But, you know, what's he gonna do? And he's in low power, but I'm capturing that. He can't sell it now, it belongs to me. And, yeah, there's a couple of guys, but that's it. He's trying to push here, but I guess he's got his hands full. Now, if I was him a while ago, I would have saved my construction yard and all my units and made a stand down here. Definitely. Probably before I attacked here, I would have started to regroup. Now I've brought my APC with the engineer in, and I'm going... Oh, shit! Oh, sorry about that. I've just whacked the fucking microphone flying. Oh, that was a great end to the game, wasn't it? Well, I'll leave it in maybe and see how it sounds. Sorry about that, viewers. It might give you a laugh, but I'm not. There you go. I looked up after picking up the mic and tripod, and it's over. Great. I was capturing, I promise. I believe that was the case. Anyway, that was what I eventually got to do after capturing the radar dome. But there you go. I'm still not certain about leaving this as it is, but I might leave it as is, and I'll just go through the army graphs and charts. Look at that army graph. Wow, that shows you what happened there. It was just one massive engagement and then a clean-up operation. But my opponent was ahead for army value, so well played to him. He did well. It was just... And he actually started to win that engagement. If I hadn't brought my MCV forward and started placing these barracks and base defences, I think the barracks and base defence turned that engagement. It forced him to retreat. And after he retreated behind his structures, that was the perfect thing to do. But I pushed it and took a chance, and I overran them. So I think, you know, just by not hesitating, I overrun him. But normally in that case, you don't be so reckless and attack, because it, you know, it bought me after I'd been defeated there. So it was only the barracks and base defence that forced him to retreat with the units I had left. So, you know, you don't want to lose that chance that I'd just earned. But it worked, and I used my tank to drive into him. It was killed, but then the APC helped. So, you know, it was difficult keeping that APC out of the action and alive, but it worked and paid off. Earnings, here we go. There's the earnings graph. Yeah, my opponent did well for earnings. I was struggling, especially at the first expansion point. I've got thieves, I didn't get to use them, and I did lose my first engineer, but I replaced him, and I've got my APC still in it. Very nice. Here's combat. I've got a 17,000 army value. I killed 163 units, my opponent killed 111. I destroyed 38,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets, and my opponent destroyed 20,000 credits worth of my assets, so we both did well there. A good scrap. And here's the production. I'm still building refineries and thieves and heavy tanks, but I do need refineries. You see, I've expanded up here to this corner, but I was in need of further income because my opponent had expanded very well, and I didn't have map control by that point. So it's important. You can, you know, the enemy, like I say, I would have made a stand down here and done it earlier. Than I wouldn't have fought for this. I would have brought what I could away from it, like my MCV. But still, it was, you know, fair enough. I had a large army anyway. It was probably over. There's the production tab. Here's the economy. I've got 7 ore trucks left, and I earned 69,000. My opponent earned 64. You see, he did quite well in economy. Yeah, he did okay. Here's the basics. I was at 32 actions per minute. My opponent was at 37 actions per minute. There's all your basic stats and graphs. I'll just tack on a second replay onto this one, just to make it a bit more substantial video. And this game, I'm using France for this game, and my opponent's using Ukraine. We've got a spectator, but we're on Timian map, the version with the oil derricks at full health and the little gem patches in the corners, which I do like this version. It's okay. It's it was altered not by the original map maker, by someone else. Right, let's see. I'm the blues, because when I use France, I use that blue colour. And my opponent's in the minty green sort of colour. Like, and there we go. We've got the engineers moving straight out there. I've got mine doing the same. There we go, yeah. My opponent's left a few rifles protecting his base. And I've sent my rifles round this way. Look, we've got... I've sent trying to intercept his engineer. Now, where is it? Oh, there it is. So he's going for mine. He hasn't got enough troops for that. And there you go, there's my engineer, and I'm protecting him, look. fairly well. You see, look, he's, he can't. He ain't got enough. Now, he could have blind fired and killed the engineer, to be fair, but no. So his engineer's changing its plans, and these guys have actually moved that way, so he might think it's clear. So let's see what the engineer does and what happens. I'm looking for him, look. Don't get too close, there's no need. Now, I've got my second oil derrick. And I'm just, yeah, leaving him. The engineer's waiting. Now, I would expect if he was waiting, he'd be checking more for why, and why is he... Oh, yeah, look, he's got some rifles going. Yeah, his engineer's safe now. Good choice. Made the right decision. And he can't see my rifleman there. The dog will. Look, the dog spotted him. Very nice. The engineer's still there. Look, I'm moving away. The dog didn't see me. Interesting. This is quite tense, this hunt for this engineer. What's going to happen? Look, I'm checking every now and then, and the dog will see me if I get like that too close. What's going on? The engineer's sat there. I'm moving forward a bit. Yeah, I'm going for the next oil derrick now. My opponent hasn't even captured it, so he hasn't got the view range benefit of the oil derrick. No, that's a mistake now. But the dog's there. The dog will give him that benefit. Right, now the engineer's going for it, and my rifleman's out of the way, though. He's not... Look, he's stopped. And my light tank is absorbing all the bullets from those riflemen. It won't bother it. Now it's mine. And he didn't have the view range from it, so he can't use the APC to drive round the side and snipe him, because he never captured it. So he's got his engineer in the APC. He'll have to make use of it another way. Now, when I use France, I place fake structures so that if my opponent attacks my base, the first thing he's going to find are fakes. So he might think he's got a power plant and attack it, but he won't have. And I can use them for view range for my units as well when I'm defending my base. There's the enemy's APC, and it's got the engineer in it. Now, that means it's not with his units, but he's not... Yeah, he's producing units now, but I think he's delayed too much. I've got a small group here checking to launch an eco raid. Now, normally I've even got a rifleman checking a headlock, just to see make sure I'm not walking into a Tesla coil or something. But the enemy would normally have expanded to harvest this. Now he's got 3 refineries. There's his APC, look. He's got 3 refineries. One of them could be here. It should be here. Looks like the my opponent's got his focus on the APC. And I'm waiting, look, see if any ore trucks turn up. And my opponent's got an MCV. His APC's given itself away by attacking the ore truck. Now I've attacked here. I've lost my light tank while I wasn't paying attention, so I'm moving these away, drawing these units away. Moving forward with an MCV. My opponent's just left that there for the moment. Now I'm training mechanics. And when allies, even before you've got the radar dome, you've got access to some decent tech. Now my opponent is capturing that barracks. So I thought, I was looking at it and thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But rather than let him capture that, and it wouldn't have been any big deal, I actually sold a refinery just to stop him. So that shows you, you know, it wasn't a great reaction. I could probably have made it in time, but there's a scouts found the enemy. But I just wanted him to stop that engineer. And I've got these medium tanks, look, and they're going on a little tour of the base just to see what's what. And they can move more quickly than heavy tanks, so they can't catch me, they can't, you know, overtake me and destroy me. Didn't quite get the first ore truck, but I didn't actually focus on it. This is where I'm focusing my attention, because I want to get the enemy ore trucks. And that small group of units that survived from the attack can now group together with my medium tanks and form a decent little force. Now I'm knocking out these ore trucks, and I was bringing my mechanics to take the wrecks and repair them, but my opponent has got a flak truck behind and he's just killed 3 mechanics. That is very nicely done. So I didn't get to take those 3 ore trucks. That was very nicely done, and this mechanic, they've been chased off now. But I can use this force that's made of 2 groups of units and attack here now. Now I know the enemy isn't there. Their force is just bouncing back from one side to the other, so I'm in control. And I've got spies now and mechanics, and I'm defending this. But this force, I've lost most of it, but some are moving back, look, and this is enough to attack an oil derrick or a power plant. It's enough to cause a nuisance, so don't let all your units die, even if you're losing an engagement. Just still save what you can. And here you go, I've got fake power plants up front, so the first structures he destroys aren't going to matter. And I wasn't expecting this attack immediately like this, so he did right doing it, and I've lost 2 more mechanics. They're 500 each. But now he's reaching my base defences, there's more fake structures being destroyed, and I've got these tanks into the battle now, so it's over. That particular engagement is done. And there's that group, look, attacking an oil derrick. And I've got spies. Oh yeah, and I built these rangers, look. So my opponent has still got a tank, and he's actually sent it here. If he parks there, that's a decent place, because my ore truck will come back and he can destroy it. But I've got artillery and these rangers, and they've got spies in the little blue pips, look. And now I'm attacking and drawing my opponent's attention. And I've got this little force that can still take part in the battle. But I know that my rangers need to move. They can't go through the front line, and they'll get destroyed, and they've got expensive cargo. So what I'm doing is making use of this to stop any defences in the area. Look, you see it's on move command, and then send the spy into the nearest power plant, and that'll knock his power out as long as this yellow bar and he's called it up. But that's a very useful tactic. Just while you're attacking, any chance you get, any vulnerable power plants, pull a ranger up and get your spy out and disguise it as a rifleman, so it doesn't look like anything important. But when you deploy your spy by a ranger, it should be quick enough anyway, so it won't matter what the opponent sees. You'll be that quick that you've infiltrated the structure. Now, if there's no power plants vulnerable, infiltrate a war factory or a barracks, or reset the timer on a nuke or anything like that. There's plenty of targets for a spy. And disguise them as your normal rifleman, because if the enemy sees an enemy rifleman going towards their base, it doesn't matter. And if you mix it with your own army, they won't be able to pick it out. But if they see one of their own infantry that they can't control going for a refinery, they know it's a spy and they'll sell it. But if they see a few of your units heading for their refinery, they don't know there's a spy there. So it's best to disguise them as your own units. But look at that artillery shell, it's probably going to kill Mr. Bond. Sadly, no one knows it's really him. He's disguised, so it's tragic. But, you know, there's nothing I can do to divert that shell, I'm afraid. Right, army graph. There you go, yeah. My opponent was behind. And earnings, they did okay. It looks like they expanded fairly well, like, and got a decent supply of ore up at one point. I've got a fairly decent finishing army. I actually built helicopters. I've got mechanics, artillery, rangers, spies, and a solid base with tanks and all the standard units. I've even got some units at my base, and I can soon start producing more and place base defences. I've got my MCV there, so I'm in a sound situation. 24,000 army value. I lost 4 structures, my opponent lost 4 structures, and I killed 104 units, my opponent killed 77. I destroyed 28,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets. My opponent destroyed 17,000 credits worth of mine. And no support powers in effect. I do have air units and a radar dome, but being allies, you don't get support powers for them like you do with the Soviets. Production, infantry, tanks, helicopters. And I've still got my 7 ore trucks. I've got 3 oil derricks. And I earned 66,000 credits. My opponent earned 40,000 credits. Basics. I was at 28 actions per minute. My opponent was at 17 actions per minute. There's all your stats and charts, basics. And I hope you enjoyed those 2 games. Sorry about the flying microphone halfway through. Sorry if it was like a bit... I don't know what it sounds like. I don't know if it's really bad. If it is really bad, then I'll redo the post. But for now, if you like what you saw, those 2 games, give us a sub and a like. And take good care of yourselves, and until next time, thank you very much, and goodbye.
Battle control terminated.